Hi, it's Miles Red Songbird in New York City. When I was at Stevie Wonder's townhouse with my business mainstream and close to the marginalized, he tried. His girlfriend was jealous of me because she was dark-skinned and I was light-skinned. She didn't like light-skinned people, or women anyway. So she talked him into kicking me out, even though I set him up in the superstar business by talking to my husband, who was Johanna Bagoda, to sign him up. And then Bagoda signed him up and negotiated deals with, this is in the 60s and 70s, and negotiated deals that made him, Stevie Wonder, a superstar from an obscure soul singer. Okay, so then I'm over there at this townhouse, thinking, well, now, I'll be helped, I'll be rewarded for what I did for him. A fat chance. So when I was trying to remain there with Alexander Danilian, my son. He was there. He's Russian. He was training me to be a warrior, a better warrior than I am. He was special ops not special ops, what do they call him? A contractor, like Blackwater. He was that in Iraq. Like Dick Cheney. He said, yeah, Dick Cheney is my boss. He was tough, Alexander was tough. So anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about Alexander, but, because Steve was kicking us out, right. And this was the name of the business. Mainstream Inclusive and Marginalized. I tried to get Steve interested in being a part of it because it was for the black community, and they always made him rich and famous, and now he could help them come up to snuff, get the same information everybody else has. It's a low information community. The IQ is the lowest in the world. 85 is the black people's IQ. So Steve wanted no part in helping them raise their standard of living, and it would kick me out. So I said to my son, who was sing birdsong, who was also Jimi Hendrix, I said, I'm over here walking on water, trying to stay above water. You want to walk on water with me? So he says, no. So you know what I mean, the equivalency of walking on water. I was doing something as difficult as walking on water is, in other words. So then my other son, Abel, said, I don't walk on water, but I can swim in that motherfucker. I didn't know I was going to say that. Abel was from the garden. It was Adam and Eve. This is Adam, looking like Art Carney and the Honeymooners. And Eve, do I picture Eve? Somewhere is Eve. Here's Eve. Adam and Eve and Abel. There's Eve. Okay, that's me. And there's up here Seth. You see Will Smith? He was Seth. Is that everybody? And Cain. Oh, how could I forget Cain? There's Cain. He's looking at his mother. Yes, sir. He loved his mother. He was Oedipal. And that was a problem. But I'm going to talk about Abel today because I haven't spoken much about him. He had a problem. He liked to teeth, like this kid. You see, he was that big, still sucking the teeth. And the teeth, Eve's teeth were like bleeding and cut, from his teeth. He had teeth. He was too old to be breastfeeding. And Cain was going crazy. He was saying, stop that. Don't you see you're hurting her? And then he tried to get Adam to stop him, and nobody would stop him. So one day, Cain went berserk and just pulled him off the teeth. And they fell back and cut his head, and he bled to death. Abel did. So then Abel, fast forward, it feels guilty. He said, I saw an interview where he said after he wins, this is Michael Phelps, and he's won everything in swimming. Just look at all this. Who wins this much? He won so much. He said he gets depressed after his meets, and that's because he still feels guilty for causing the problem in the garden, even though they made up some other problem. That was what really happened. And then when I was 16, was I 16? He was 16. No, he was older than that. He must have been 17. And I was 9 years old in Clarksville, Tennessee, and I was swimming in the pool. Now, I was Cinderella. Nobody liked me. My parents didn't want me, and the peers didn't like me because I was light-skinned, didn't look like them, so they thought that I was better than them, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't have a clue what they're talking about, but they wouldn't play with me. And so I didn't have much happiness. And one day I was swimming, and I just stopped swimming. What the fuck is the point in continuing to swim? So I stopped. And his name was William Earl. What was his last name? Dixon. William Earl Dixon. He was an excellent diver. They used to go, him and Claude Ray Shockley, used to go down to the river, the Red River, in Clarksville, and practice diving. And they were just as good as an Olympian. I used to watch them in amazement as they came off the diving board doing all kind of fancy tricks. But anyway, this day, I thought I was dead. I thought I was dying. I didn't feel like keeping swimming. And William Earl jumped in and pulled me out of the water. And I was amazed. Wow, this happened? So that happened. He saved my life. So then, this was my son Abel, was William Earl. I didn't know he was my son Abel. I didn't even know I was Eve. So that's what happened. So then he went on to become a fabulous swimmer, the best in the world. Look at all this accolades he got. He did everything. And now he has a little baby. I'm so happy for him. Look at Abel. Look at that. Shaking hands with all kind of people. This is a great, look at it, the Olympics. I love the Olympics. It's so international. People from all over the world get together and show what they've been practicing at and what they're good at, what they're great at. They can't just be good. Look at them. I win. Oh, great. There he is. Somebody's hugging him. They love him because he works so hard. Still trying to suck that teeth. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. And he's got the American flag. I love that. What's his name? Sheldon. Blake Sheldon says, if you don't like the American flag, you can kiss my country ass. He says it better than I do. Okay, so what else? Oh, here, in Athens, Greece, in 2004, he won again. He won more medals than anybody. This me there. I'm sitting in Singh's apartment in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. He doesn't have, he sold it. I sold mine, then he sold his. So we left it on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. He went all over the, look at him. Wow. You know, it takes a lot of guts, and not only guts, mettle, that word, M-E-T-T-L-E. Heart. That's a lot of heart to win like this. Swim hard. That takes a lot of heart. And practice to increase your stamina so you can keep going a long time without stopping. Okay, that's all. I just wanted to show him off. There's the American flag. He represents America so beautifully. I'm so proud of him. He's wonderful. Okay, and then Adam said on a song, my soul is yours to save. And now it's coming out. He's been chasing me to my grave for millions of years. And he wants me to save his soul. And I'm soft-hearted, and I want to save his soul. So here's what he has to do. He has to apologize for killing me and raping me and beating me and ruining all of my opportunities as I've gone through life and ordering me into hell and keeping me in hell. And so all of that, he has to apologize. And then the saints, we're the saints. They're the saints. They are in the Punjab. This is a master race. These are perfect living masters. My son Singh is the third one. Next to him is Charan Singh. It's my fetus, and my fetus in my womb right now. To the right is Baba Gurinder Singh, he's God. And what he did was, because of Adam killing me and having his followers hurt me all the time, he cut the shit. He just got into me. He took a spiritual form and sat behind my pineal gland in my brain to protect me. I was his mother. And then in the first century, he was Jesus Christ, and I was Mary, his wife. So our love goes back to the beginning of time. And recently he told me, he asked me to marry him again as as Michelle Birdsong, a mild red songbird, now, 2018, okay? I don't look like that anymore. So, of course I said yes. Adam asked me to marry him 3 times. And then he said, when I said, well, Baba G comes first, he's number 1, you know. So then he said, well, his wife, Evita, comes first. So then I thought, oh, that doesn't sit well with me. So I said, I'm not marrying him. He reminds me of my first husband. It's a lizard. He said to me, my husband said it was. He said he's a chameleon, not a chameleon, a chameleon. It is chameleon, a chameleon. They change with the environment. They have no self. They have no values. They just be whatever the environment requires. They can adjust to anything. There he is there. This is Adam. So I don't want to go through that again. I can't marry him. And they're cold-hearted, you know. He told me after I set him up in business, he wanted to be in the music business, so then I helped him be in the music business. And so then he starts hanging out with a black Muslim and have a baby by her. And I said, oh, I could forgive that, but she has to go. And he goes, no. And I said, no, you must be crazy. We're going to die tonight. You just killed us. So we were in the car, and I took the wheel and tried to kill us all. But Baba G told me later he grabbed my arm. He said he can do that. He can switch. He can be in the physical and reach into the spiritual, or he can be in the spiritual and reach into the physical. One day, he grabbed my feet in here, and I said, oh my God, he's come from the spiritual and grabbed my feet. So he said he looked sad because he was Cain and he killed his brother. He wasn't happy about that. As a matter of fact, he's so unhappy about his family being broken up. This is why this whole big conspiracy is going on to put his family back together again in heaven on earth in eternity, because he's Jesus Christ. And so that's his power of arranging things. And because I didn't even know my part I was playing. I said to my friend, I'm doing some work. I know what happened. When he was in Petaluma, California, I went to see him, and it was just exquisite. I never had an experience like that before. And as a matter of fact, he impregnated me with his eyes. I didn't know that then. I know that now because I'm sitting here pregnant. And he told me. And I went outside, and the sun ignited whatever he put in me to make the babies. They cooked it, the radiant form of the sun and the sky were. So they interviewed, StoryCorps interviewed me in San Francisco about what it was like to see God. And, you know, I was elated. I was overjoyed. I never had an experience like that before. And I said to them, I'm doing some work for God. I'm not sure what it is. That's the name of the album, What It Is, that Edwin and I did to present to the world. This is Blake Shelton's girl, Hassani. Her name is now, what's her name? Lafani, Somani. What's her name? Stefani. Hassan. This is Hassani. Her name now is Stefani. Okay, so when I was a little girl, I longed. This is Jandara, my granddaughter. This is a book Robin and I wrote. Sneezy the Greasy Baby, says Abigail. He's Sneezy. Because I used to grease his scalp to plait his hair. Everybody started wearing plaits when that album What It Is came out, because he had plaits. And nobody else was wearing plaits. And she started it. My mother was Baba Jamal Singh, President Eisenhower. She started plaiting my hair. So it evolved to 1970 when I plaited his hair, and now everybody's still wearing plaits. And they don't know who gave them the idea. Every time I see it, I say, they have no idea who. I sat there plaiting his hair, and that's why they got the idea to plait the hair. But anyway, I'm setting the record straight now. So I was talking about Baba G, right? When I was 9, and I said to God, I didn't say it to God, I longed in my heart to work for God and do something important, because I was nothing. Nobody, my mother didn't want me, my father wasn't around, he didn't want me, my sister treated me like a slave. Nobody liked me but Brother Wright, who was Jimi Hendrix, sing Birdsong. He and I had a thing. I loved him, I worshipped him. It was great. Turns out he was Jesus. Was he Jesus Christ? I'm not sure. I don't remember now. But he was the kindest man I ever saw in my life. Even to today, I've never seen anyone who never said a harsh word to me all the time I knew him. Who could be that way? Just amazing. So I longed to work for God. So then when that StoryCorps was interviewing me, I admitted, I said, I'm doing some work for God, but I don't know what it is exactly. So what it was, Gurinder Singh took me by the hand, and he didn't tell me what I was doing, but each step of the way he guided me to do what he needed done so he can get his family back together again. And so now what I'm doing is going to pardon, give amnesty. I talked to Gurinder, and he said, my soul is yours to save, on one of his songs. And I said, I talked to Baba G, and so the name Punjab is where the masters live, and their headquarters. Let's see, can I find it? Oh, here it is. And look what this is. This is where they live, in the Punjab. And when you decode it, it's a message. It says, put in jail Adam Buble. So that's and so they knew all along. How long has this been going on? I don't know how long it's been going on. But how long the Punjab has been there, they knew that Buble would want his soul to be saved, and he has to go to jail. He has to pay the price for killing me, raping me, beating me, breaking both of his arms. Look what he did. Cain became a samurai soldier. I bet he can't break his arms now. Look at that. How many swords does he have here? Look at that. Wow. Whoa. I love a warrior. So here you go. Because I was Guru Nanak, and the Sikh invented Sikhism, and Sikhs die. They die before they're to be defeated. They fight to the death. In the Indian War with Britain, more Sikhs died than anybody else. They're only 2% of the population, but they fight. They're good fighters, and they're decent. I've read about them. And the guy said when the Sikhs during World War II took them prisoner, they fed them before they fed themselves. Sikhs have honor. I'm very, very proud of Sikhs. Love them. They're just so normal, and so they could drive taxis. If you live in New York City, the best taxi drivers are the Sikhs, because they go fast. But they're present, and they don't have accidents. They know what they're doing. So they're amazing. That's the Sikhs. So what about his saving his soul? Okay, so we figure he has to go to jail to pay for what he did to me for millions of years. And his followers, like George Soros, they have to go to jail too, and Hillary and all those murderers and corrupt Demon Rats Party, the leaders have to go to jail. And he has to apologize. And he has to do talk and share, because he's crazy as a bed bug. And talk and share can cure him. Jung's wife, and Freud and Pearls, and I'm familiar with psychology, created a therapy that works. talking share, so he has to get involved with therapy. Is that enough? So if he goes to jail, if he gets therapy, if he apologizes, can he go to heaven? Does it qualify him for heaven? Saving his soul? I don't know. That's all I know for now about that. Let me read some of this. God gave me you, sang Blake Shelton to the you. Too bad Sheldon accepted the substitute. That's who he gets for eternity. A pretend hick till she gets sick of acting like that. What else I got? You know, I jot down these thoughts. Twitter. What about Twitter? Bitter. Sitter. Fitter. That's Sneezy the Greasy. We're Sneezy the Greasy, a babysitter. Okay, this is a babysitter. That's where that came from. You can pick up that book at Amazon.com. I wish you would. I'm so broke. It'd be help to me. Robert doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of money either. She wrote the book. It was my conception. I conceived the idea. She wrote it. She was Dr. Seuss. And it's seamless rhymes. It's great. And she found the illustrator in England, T.J. Robshaw. Just amazing. I praised him before. The detail, the attention to detail in his drawings are astonishing. Anybody's child would be interested in that. Sitter, fitter. Babaji fits me. That's why he asked me to marry him. Nobody else is qualified to be my husband but God. Get her. That's Adam, the one get me and hurt me and kill me and burn me and like that. What is that? Hitter. Yeah, that's Adam did that. Fitter, kidder, litter, admitter. To the psych ward. I went to the psych ward once and they asked me all these questions about a politician who was running, who was the candidate. I knew all the answers until they said, "What's your name?" When I didn't know my name, they said admitter. I got so many names, no wonder I was confused. I've been so many people. But with talking share, I've been able to integrate, and meditation. Babaji and all the saints teach meditation. That's essential. As a matter of fact, Charan Singh said it's a panacea. In other words, it's an answer to all problems. So the meditation has helped me integrate all these lives I've led and all these people I've been. A knitter. My friend Linda, Mary Queen of Scots, was a knit. She used to knit like a professional. Witter. Dean Witter. Is that what the Pursuit of Happiness? Is that Will Smith? Was that the name of that stockbroking company, Dean Witter? I think it was. And I have a sharp wit because I was Einstein. Zitter. I don't have any zits. Zuher. Shooter. Yeah, they tried to shoot me. My boyfriend when I was 12 years old shot at me when I left the party. And my stepfather, Shorty, shot at me. One time he was drunk and shot at me in Charles Gray. Oh, I had planned to read all this, but I'm out of time. I'll make another video, I promise. I hope this was of interest to you and informs you about what's going on in the world. Oh, it's only 23 minutes. I could do 33 minutes. I got 10 more times. What does this say? Family, neighbors, and handlers to take cookies from U.S. workers, citizens, productive visitors, cookie jars. Now the takers have taken all the cookies from the cookie jar. This is about illegal immigrants. Now they want to crowd us out of our homes, sit down and smoke our expensive Cuban cigars. C.I. Guard a Radhasammy. CIA guards Gurinder Singh. I was worried about his safety. And Petaluma and his Fountain Jones, who goes everywhere with him, helping him with his technology, assured me that he has ex-CIA security. Nobody could get to him. Plus, he has his own supernatural powers. He could zap them with it, snap his finger and they'd be dead. So, and plus he was the samurai soldier, so he can fight. And the Sikhs can fight. So I'm not worried about it. But I was worried that day. Because these strange guys, they were white guys. And they didn't look reverent. They didn't look like they were standing in line to see God. They were holding coffee and acting, above it all. And so I told the Indian who was in charge of the line, I said, I don't know about these guys. I don't know if they're going to hurt Babaji. So he said, oh no, it'll be fine. I said to myself, you're naive. They don't look safe to me. They look dangerous. So I followed them into the auditorium and sat behind them. And I said to myself, if I see a gun, I'll take a chair and hit him in the head with a chair. And then I saw Fountain Jr., and that's when I said to him, I think these people want to hurt Babaji. They can't. I don't want that. So that's when he told me that the CIA, the Babaji security was CIA. And James Golden was there. And he said, can I have a hug? So he gave me a big hug. This is James Golden. And he works for Rush Limbaugh. There is in a tuxedo. He's a Satsangi. The only person sent me money to leave hell, Kansas City, to come back to New York. Everybody else ignored me and didn't give me any. I thought I had a ton of friends. I thought wrong. James Golden, I have one friend. That's good. That's all you need, one friend. Okay. So, what's happening here? CIA. The takers have taken the cookies out of the cookie jar. Now, they've helped themselves to the other contents in the families of the jars. Then they tore apart and robbed Jesus of Radhaswami, Lord of the Soul. No, that's something else. They took apart and robbed the counters on which sat the jars. So they took the jars, they took the counters where the jars sat, they took the stools where family sat at the counter eating cookies out of the cookie jars. Then these arrogant poor people removed the walls that held the room where the family sat on the stools at the counter that held the jars, that held the food that the family used to stay alive. America's got one foot in the house. i.o.u. He ordered U.S. Energy. Why? To enlarge his experience. Energy Unknown presents Energy Her. Entering couples experience. Oh, that's what I'm talking about, getting married. House. Babaji. Oh no, this is Adam did that. Adam ordered another person into existence to enlarge his experience. He had willed himself alive. Okay, so then I took it. So it also could mean me and Babaji, because it says I'm entering couples experience. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Because he asked me to marry him. Theoretical physicist. Einstein's bliss before Miles Red's Gurinder Singh's promised kiss. Einstein was a theoretical physicist. Eve is Einstein. That's what that means. Okay? Alright, I'm going to go now. It's Michelle Birdsong, Miles Red Songbird, in New York City, talking about everything in creation. Jesse Peterson says, express yourself. He said, get it off your chest. And that's what I'm doing. I hope I'm interesting. Boring is a sin. I made that up. Bye.